so that y'all have this video to do next week if you want to. So this video is recorded in front of a live audience. Coming into Adho Svanasana, downward facing dog. You're doing this practice with your eyes covered, but if you need to uncover them at any point during your practice, then do so. So take your time. You gotta move slow when you do this. You're holding down facing dog. Slowly pedaling your feet left and right. Then take your feet as wide as the mat today. So take your time to feel the outer edges of your mat. Press into the pose by pressing your heart back toward your thighs. Feel your spine getting longer. And bending your knees. Coming into child's pose. Bring the big toes to touch. Sit back. Rest your forehead on the floor. And if you want to know if your arms are straight, you can feel around. So you can feel if your arms are straight. You can actually bring your hands to the outer edges of your mat. Exhaling, inhaling up onto all fours. You're going to shift back between downward facing dog, hold for a moment, and then come into Adho Mukha Svanasana, Adho Mukha Virasana with the knees together, push back. Shifting between the two poses several times. Now, if you're menstruating, don't do it with your knees together. Do it with your knees apart. Using the inhales and exhales to move your posture from downward dog to child's pose. And if at any time you don't feel comfortable with your eyes closed and covered, then you remove your mask. The next time you come into child's pose, stay in child's pose with your knees together unless they need to be apart, and put a support under your head. Stay here for 5 deep breaths. Really focus on your breath here. Allow your breath to be deep and full. Now taking your Parshva Adho Mukha Virasana, taking your block over to one side, Extending your hands over to the right. So keep your hips in the middle, and your hands and your hips go, your hands and your head go over to the right. Stay here for 5 breaths. Feel your hands on the floor. Exhaling, inhaling through center, and then over to the left. 5 breaths on this side. Moving slowly enough so that you don't knock yourself out with your block. Coming into Virasana. So you're sitting on your heels, or if you can't sit on your heels, then put a block under your hips in between your feet. You use multiple blocks. Now, if for some reason that's just not going to work, then sit cross-legged. So again, if while you're moving around, you need to uncover your eyes, and do that so that you're safe. Otherwise, you keep your eyes covered and don't disturb yourself too much. But once you're in your position that you're going to be in, interlace your fingers, push your palms away from your face, and reach up toward the ceiling. So the bottom of your hands will be facing the ceiling. Straightening your arms. Exhaling. Bringing palms to heart center. Cross the fingers in a non-habitual way and press away and up. Releasing your fingers. Take your right hand to the top of your spine. Hold your elbow with your left hand. And you can stay here or reach up and under for your hand behind your back. If for some reason you can't reach, then use your strap. Loop your strap over. Hold it with your right hand. And then, so you're making a hook with your right hand, and then reach up and under with your left hand. Then walk your hands together. You're holding and breathing. And even though you may not see in front of you, you are holding your head as if you can. Take 2 more deep breaths here. Then release and do the other side. Reaching up and under. Slow breath. And release. Interlacing your fingers behind your back and press down, opening your chest. Not only are you pressing down, but you're pressing back just a little bit. Then cross your fingers in a non-habitual way and press again. Good, and bring your palms to touch. So your fingertips are either facing down toward the floor or their fingertips are facing up with your palms touching. Lift your chest. Release and repeat. So every day your poses feel different. That's why we call it practice. Depending on what you did the day before or the time of day that you're practicing is going to determine how your pose looks and how your body responds to it. And gently release. Placing your hands on your thighs, taking 5 deep breaths. Inhaling to fill and oxygenate. Exhaling to detoxify. And gently releasing and moving again into Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. So take your time to move around. Press back into downward facing dog. Make sure your mat is clear. Pedaling your feet again. And pressing your heels toward the floor. Staying here for 5 deep breaths. Feel a lifting out of the floor. Feel your tailbone moving upward toward the ceiling. Feel your heart moving towards your thighs. Exhaling. Inhaling to slowly walk forward in between your hands. And forward fold. So you can hold forward fold like this where your hands are on the floor, or you can put your forehead on a chair. Forehead can be on a chair, your hands can be on the floor, or you can reach for opposite elbows overhead. Feet are hip distance apart or a little bit wider than hip distance apart. You can even do mat distance apart, especially if you have low back pain. Really straightening your legs. So you'll begin to feel your kneecaps lifting up towards your hips. As you do that, your chest is extending to lengthen your spine. Again, this practice is about self-discovery. Exhaling, inhaling to walk back into downward facing dog again. And then take your right hand up and touch your thigh down the side of your leg. So reach your hand towards your thigh or your calf and hold. And switch. Still pushing your chest back towards your thighs. And switch. And switch again. Now switch, but reach for the opposite leg. So your right hand on the outside of your left leg and twist. And switch. Left hand on the outside of your right leg. Allow your imaginary gaze to go up underneath your right armpit. Coming back to the center. Coming onto all fours with your knees together. And again, rest your forehead. Arms extended. Allow your breath to be very slow. Very slow. So really feel your inhalations and exhalations. Come into Parshva Adho Mukha Virasana. Bring your hands and your head over to the right. Support your head on the block. Remember that you don't have to keep your eyes covered if it's not comfortable. If it is, then stay that way. Otherwise, just do with your eyes closed or that partial curtain down gaze. And then back to the center and over to the left. Take your time, nice and easy. The hips continue to move toward the heels and the arms lengthen. Coming up into Virasana or Swastikasana, you put your block in between your feet or sit with your shins crossed. Inhale up with your left arm and exhale, turn to your right. Right hand is behind you, twisting, looking over your right shoulder, elongating your spine. Coming back to center, inhale up with your right arm, lift and exhale over to your left. Both hips stay on the floor, twisting from your shoulders. Good. Slowly inhale to release, coming back to center. Resting your hands near the top of your thighs and taking 5 deep breaths. Slow, soft, deep inhalations. Slow, soft, deep exhalations. Inhaling to fill the lungs. Exhaling to completely empty. Breath. And releasing into Dandasana. The legs are straight out in front of you. So you're sitting with your legs straight out in front of you, your hands pressing into the floor and lifting the chest. Allowing your pelvis to tilt, lifting your chest and rolling the shoulders onto your back. And bring your right knee in, hugging the knee in. If you're menstruating, turn to your left. If you're not, turn to your right. You can hug your knee in with your forearm or take your elbow past your knee and twist. Right hand is behind you on the mat. Looking over your shoulder behind you. So if you turn to the right, you're looking over your right shoulder. And if you turn to the left, you're looking over your left shoulder. Inhaling back to center. Bring your knee out to the side. Grab your foot. And begin to massage your foot. Feeling your foot. Pressing your thumbs into the sole of your foot. Massaging your ankle. Really see in your imagination your foot. And taking your fingers in between your toes, just separate your toes gently. And then use your foot to move your hand around. So turn your foot in a circle at your ankle and use your foot to move your hand around. Use your foot, maybe move in all different directions to move your hand. And then use your hand to move your foot around, all different directions. Good. And then going into the Dandasana again with the legs straight, sitting up nice and tall, holding Dandasana and noticing the difference between your right and left leg. Joshua. Now bending your left knee. Again, if you're menstruating, you turn into your right. If you're not, you turn into your left. But keep your both hips on the floor. And you might find that if you're having trouble turning to your right, that you need to move your foot further to the left to give yourself a little space to turn. Otherwise, you're going to turn to your right, your left, and put your left hand behind you and your right elbow to the outside. Your right hand behind you. I just screwed that up. Right elbow on your left knee, left hand behind you on the floor, and twist. And look to your left. Make sure your right toes are facing the ceiling. You're completely emptying the breath. That's why this is not good for menstruation, because it actually will stop your period. Exhaling and inhaling back to center. And massaging this foot. Using your hands to touch your foot. Pressing your thumbs into the sole of your foot. And a lot of you might be thinking, man, I need to do this more often. This feels good. If you don't do this often, that's why your feet are ashy now. I couldn't resist. So massaging your foot, believe it or not, massaging your foot is actually very good for keeping your foot hydrated, because it increases the circulation in your foot. And usually when you're massaging your foot, you're also using some kind of a lotion or something. But most importantly is massaging the foot helps to keep the circulation in your foot, which is particularly important if you have diabetes or high blood pressure or even inflammation in your extremities. Take your fingers and put them in between your toes. And you'll find that when you practice yoga regularly, that those things will begin to diminish. So using your foot to move your hand. In circles, in all different directions, using your foot to move your hand around. And then using your hand to move your foot around. Two very similar and yet very different experiences. And gently release. Going back to Dandasana, taking your legs out in front of you and feeling your legs again. Now moving into Supta Padangusthasana 1 and 2. So you can lay flat or you can put something under your head. And taking your legs straight up. Both of your legs are in the strap. Both of your feet are facing the ceiling. So if you're participating in plank with us, this would our plank for today. The legs are straight up, and then you can leave the strap hanging from your feet and reach for your arms overhead and hold your legs straight up. The legs are at 90 degrees. And if this posture hurts your back, then put a blanket under your sacrum. You put a blanket under your tailbone to lift your sacrum. Otherwise, you're holding, your arms are extended by your head with your palms facing the ceiling. If your arms are by your ears, don't put a pillow under your head yet. Holding this position, lengthening your legs, keeping your face soft. Breathing. Now grabbing the strap, holding. So it's very different when you're using support. Release your left leg down. Keep both legs nice and long unless you absolutely need to bend your left knee. If you need support under your head, now is the time to take it. So you don't want to feel like your head is dropping. You want to feel like it's a nice long line of energy from your head to your hips to your heel. Taking the strap into your right hand, you can use a hook or hold on to the strap wrapped around your foot. Take your leg out to the right and turn your head to the left. Keep both hips on the floor. Belly is moving to the left. Inhaling back to center and switching, taking the strap around your left foot, taking the right leg to the floor. So you're only at 90 degrees here. You're not trying to pull the strap to your face. You're not trying to see how far your leg can come to your face. Your leg is at 90 degrees. Soften your face. Taking the strap into your left hand. And go over to the left with your left leg. And pick your head up and turn it to the right. Kneeling back up to center. Taking both legs up into the strap again. This time taking the legs wide, holding the strap. So again, your legs are 90 degrees. If you don't have a strap wide enough, maybe you grab your big toes. Soften your neck. Elongate your spine. Bring the legs together. And coming up to sit. Sitting in swastikasana. So the ankles are crossed, the shins are crossed. And you're going to grab your chair. If you don't have a chair, then just make sure your support is supporting your head. And support your head. Lean forward. And reach for opposite elbows. Slow, soft, deep inhalations. Slow, soft, deep exhalations. Without disturbing too much, cross your legs in the opposite way. And again, extending forward. Be mindful. Find stillness. Inhaling up. Bring the soles of the feet to touch. If for some reason you can't go forward, then just sit upright. Otherwise, you're extending forward, resting your forehead. Inhaling up. Upavishtakanasana, bring your legs wide. Make sure your knees are facing the ceiling. Inhale to lift the chest and exhale to extend forward. Yes, on whatever support is going to allow you to rest your head. The reason why you rest your head in these poses is because if you don't, then your brain is going to be looking for something to rest on, and your nervous system is not going to settle down. So if for some reason you can't extend forward, then maybe you put your back on the wall instead. Paschimottanasana, bringing your legs straight out in front of you. Your feet can be together, your knees can be together or apart slightly. Then you inhale up, exhale, fold forward. Find your support. Again, if it doesn't feel good for you to go forward, you can lean up against the wall. Slow, soft, deep inhalations. Slow, soft, deep exhalations. Exhaling, inhaling to come up. Again, sitting in Dandasana. Bringing your legs out in front. Pressing into the floor to open your chest. Coming into Supta Baddha Konasana. Supporting your spine on a bolster. Length of the bolster. If you don't have a bolster, use maybe a pillow or blanket laying over your support. You can put blocks under your knees. You can even use a strap to hold your legs. And lay the soles of your feet together and your knees wide. And relax. Like flat on your back or with the support under your spine. And you can stay here, or you can go into Shavasana with your legs extended. Today's random reading, the second agreement, we're in the 4 agreements. The second agreement, don't take anything personally. Nothing others do is because of you. What others say and do is a projection of their own reality, their own dream. When you are immune to the opinions of and actions of others, you won't be the victim of needless suffering. If you live without fear, if you love, there is no place for any of these emotions. If you don't feel any of those emotions, it is logical that you will feel good. When you feel good, everything around you is good. When everything around you is great, everything makes you happy. You are loving everything that is around you because you are loving yourself, because you like the way that you are, because you are content with you, because you are happy with your life. You are happy with the movie that you are producing, happy with your agreements with life. You are at peace and you are happy. You live in that state of bliss where everything is so wonderful and everything is so beautiful. In that state of bliss, you are making love all the time with everything that you perceive. Whatever people do, feel, think, or say, don't take it personally. If they tell you how wonderful you are, they are not saying that because of you. You know you are wonderful. It is not necessary to believe other people who tell you that you are wonderful. Don't take anything personally. Even if someone, oh Lord, even if someone got a gun and shot you in the head, it is nothing personal, even at that extreme. Even the opinions you have about yourself are not necessarily true. Therefore, you don't need to make whatever you hear in your own mind personally. The mind has the ability to talk to itself, but it also has the ability to hear information that is available from other realms. Sometimes you hear a voice in your mind and you may wonder where it came from. This voice may have come from another reality in which there are living beings very similar to the human mind. The Toltecs called these beings allies. In Europe, Africa, and India, they called them gods. So feeling the weight of your body on the floor, completely supported, allowing yourself to be supported. Awareness in what your feet, your legs, your hips, shoulders and head and arms, all of these things, feel them on the floor. Even if you're sitting in a chair for whatever reason, feeling your connection to the earth. Taking your time to roll over onto your right side, laying for a moment, then up to a comfortable seat, sitting with your palms together, thinking of something or someone you are grateful for. Namaste, y'all. Thank you for coming. Thank you for showing up for yourselves and for each other, because it really does make a difference.